I'm Jess, founder of The Solution Revolution. I'm so excited that you're here today. Let's kick this off by me sharing a little bit about myself. I'm going to try to keep this the short and sweet version, but without leaving out important details, right? Okay, so first of all, I was raised the first several years of my life by my mom as a single mother. She's a kick-ass woman. She still is. And I just look at her as like this badass, like she knew how to stretch a penny. She knew how, like, she kept me fed and a roof over my head. And even though the first several years of my life were spent, we lived in a 1-bedroom apartment. We had a mattress that was on the floor in the bedroom. And then we had a couch and we had a black and white TV. Those were how I spent the first several years of my life. But I never felt like I was lacking in anything in that way. But when it came to love, that is when my long history of searching for love in all the wrong places started, right? And it also became my unhealthy relationship with food. I cannot remember a time where I didn't look for comfort in things like chips, especially salty snacks. Those are my thing more so than the sweet. And obviously, that didn't create the result that I wanted, right? So I grew up, I was actually very skinny. I was the girl that like everybody hated because I couldn't gain weight. And I kind of just assumed that that's the way it was going to be. And because my outward appearance didn't show the unhealthiness going on inside, so I could like eat Big Macs and French fries and chips and not gain weight, right? So nobody really saw what an unhealthy relationship I truly did have with food because my outsides showed skinny, right? So nobody really understood that I still was not healthy. All right, so then, teenage years, I had the normal teenage rebellion, destructive behaviors, moved out of my mom's house at 18, and more destructive behaviors, drugs, sex, and rock and roll, right? I got pregnant at 19 and I had my amazing, beautiful daughter. She truly saved my life. Having her was like having the love I'd always looked for in this little person, right? And I found myself as a single mom. I had also gained like 60 pounds when I was pregnant and like couldn't get it off, but I wasn't really too concerned with it because I was just so busy being her mom all in. I did it by myself. I raised her by myself. I worked 60 plus hours a week as a secretary for a medical office, a physician's office. And I also did medical transcription there. So I worked 60 plus hours a week. I was raising her as a single mom. I was, there were times when I was like, gosh, I really wish I could lose weight. And so I would do things like pills and wraps and detoxes and all the fad stuff. And I even tried to join a gym, but that was like, how was I going to get there? I just didn't have any extra time in my life, right? I tried running. I tried all the things. And nothing really seemed to work. So I just sort of dug into, I'm just focused on my kid, right? I did end up getting married, divorced, married again, another child, a new child. And my husband and I decided that it didn't really make a whole lot of sense for me to go back and work outside the home because of how expensive childcare was. So I was already doing medical transcription from home. So I just kept doing that. And that was a good full-time income until it wasn't. About a decade ago, electronic medical records came into place and offices stopped employing as many medical transcriptionists. So my job, I had to actually cut what I contracted. I was a contractor with that. So I had to actually cut that in half in order to be competitive and still get the jobs that I wanted so I could stay home. But my income was half what it had been. It's pretty scary times. At the same time, I'm looking at my body. I'm home with this 3.5-year-old, 4-year-old, and I'm like, my body just I felt really uncomfortable in my body. I kept having to buy bigger clothes, but it really was more like couldn't walk upstairs without getting winded. Taking him on walks, and he was a very energetic child. He was and still is, and I couldn't keep up with him. We would go outside to like kick a ball, and I'd be like winded in 10 seconds. Like I just felt so uncomfortable in my body and could see the signs that my health was really struggling. And at the same time, it was also affecting my mental health. And my mental health was affecting my physical health. It was just this vicious cycle, right? And again, had him, I was trying like all the fad things, all the detoxes and the different things and basically starvation diets, and it developed a very bad binging problem of eating and binging. I remember that I would take my daughter to school, and then my son and I would be in the car, and we would stop at McDonald's, and I would get like a breakfast meal, and I would like eat it in about 10 seconds. And then sometimes I'd go home and I would throw that up. But then we would go back at lunch, and he'd get a Happy Meal, and I would get a quarter pounder meal or whatever. I mean, I was probably consuming 4,000 calories of food, but I was throwing it all up. But my body was not I was not losing any weight. But who wants to eat and throw up all the time, right? So it was this really bad binging cycle. So I realized that was unhealthy. I tried running. That was hard to become a long distance runner because, again, with my son and my husband's weird work hours, I just didn't have a whole lot of extra time for that. And going to the gym, I just didn't feel motivated to get there. So anyway, the fall of 2014, a friend of mine said, hey, I'm getting ready to start this accountability group on Facebook. Do you want to jump in and join us? You use online workouts. We drink a shake a day. We'll work on your nutrition. You'll have accountability in the group. And I was like, okay. Because here's where I was really at a fork in the road. I was at a fork. I was at the point of either I'm just going to give up and just be like, I'm going to eat whatever I want and not care about my health, or I'm going to like try this one last thing and see if this might be it. So I decided to try it and got my workout in the mail. At that time, we didn't have the streaming system like we have now. You had to actually purchase DVDs. So I picked my program. I picked my shake flavor, chocolate, and I started digging in, and I immediately loved the online community. I loved being a stay-at-home mom and a work-at-home mom. I wasn't seeing people a whole lot. I wasn't actually getting out and interacting with other adult humans very much. So it was nice. Social media gets a bad rap, and I love social media, but it can sometimes tend towards the negative, right? So there was that, but with this online community, it was very positive, very uplifting. We were all working for, goals. We were all trying to be our healthiest selves, and we were all using these same programs and tools. And within a week of working out 30 minutes a day from home, using my program that I had chosen, which I had chosen PiYo, drinking one shake a day, and then just being more mindful with my food choices. We were eating more fresh veggies, more lean proteins, less of the like frozen box stuff, right? So within a week, I felt incredible. And I was starting to see like my pants were fitting better, and I had more energy, and I was like wanting to do all the things, right? And people started to say to me, hey, what are you doing? Like you're like glowing. I mean, you've lost weight, but you also just like look happier and you're smiling more. And I'm like, I feel so good in my body. Like I just started to not be so winded all the time and could play outside with my son. Within the first couple of months, it was just like, wow. So people started asking what I was doing. And I hadn't signed up as a coach. I had just signed as a client, which you can totally choose to do, but I could kick myself because once I signed up as a coach, the accountability factor was a million. Because here I was inviting my friends to join me, and they were showing up. So I was showing up because, let's be honest, we show up better for other people than for ourselves, right? So I started showing up more for myself, and it was helping me reach my own health goals while also helping other people. Then, and who doesn't love a discount? Because I loved my Amazing Shake. 25% off, yes, I love a discount. But then I realized that I could actually turn this into an income for myself. So what started as a way to get a discount, have more accountability, and have this discount and pay for my shakes every month. Then I was like, oh, it can be more than that. And in the last 5 years, I've built a successful business that has replaced that income that I lost when my transcription business, to no fault of my own, tanked, right? So while I still do own a medical transcription business, it is now like the fun money, and my coaching income is my pay the bills money, right? So it is growing to be something that was more than I even imagined that it could be. And there is a disclaimer on all of this. I'm going to put it on this video so that you can see that. But the things that it's given me, from starting from someone like where I started to where I am now, and I never saw it coming. I don't have a nutritionist background. I don't have a fitness, I'm not a trainer, I'm not a dietitian, but I've learned so much just on my own journey and using these tools that are provided by Beachbody, that I am able to share that with my friends and family, help them get results, and provide an income that's been a real game changer for my family as far as allowing us to be debt-free, time freedom. It allowed me to stay home with my son and still be at home now. So that's a little bit about me. I look forward to chatting with you more.